Hosted by Matt Riches. $1 trillion tickers. $1 trillion tickers. Watch the market unfold. $1 trillion tickers. Turning data to gold. $1 tickers. Watch the market unfold. $1 tickers. Turning data to gold. $1 tickers. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. This is the market check-in. The market is closed. Happy Tuesday. Let's see. What happened in the market today? Wow. Sold off crazy and then had a little bit of a recovery. Not a full recovery, but like a halfway recovery. But enough to let us know that the buyers did step in. Let's see. The Fear and Greed Index is now at 33. So we're more than halfway headed toward extreme fear than we are toward neutral. And that's only in a few days. Shoot. All right, so all the charts basically look the same. But we'll get to that when we get to the charts. It was just a crazy sell-off and then halfway recovery. So the VIX, it actually spiked up to 23 today before dropping back to under 20. President Trump blamed Iran for shooting down the U.S. Apache helicopter and said the United States must respond. Both crew members were rescued safely. So that may be a piece of why the market sold off so crazy. That's just another layer added to the geopolitical risk right now. And we also have CPI data coming out tomorrow morning. So today's market was not just about charts. It was about fear. It was about headlines. It was about CPI positioning. It was about SpaceX IPO positioning. It was about whether buyers were brave enough to step in after a sharp move lower. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Before we get into the charts, let's get into the mantra. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve the wealth that I'm building for me and my family. Riches and freedom, they come to our hands. I am the master of all I command. My learning is limitless. My earnings are too. The more I discover, the more I can do. The stock market is a machine of design, and I have the power to make that wealth mine. I am capable, I am skilled, I am bold. Blessings on the journey as the vision unfolds. All right, let's get on these charts, y'all. Let me show you what happened today. So this is SPX. As you can see, this is where the market opened right here, 6:30. And then they just sold off. These are 15-minute candles, by the way. And it sold off all the way down here. Let's check out how far that fell. So it fell 2.8% before recovering and closing down 0.9%. But from the high of day, let's just bring it from the high of day. It was down 3.2% before closing, down 1.3%. And all these charts are going to look pretty similar. This is the NAS 100. And let me show you. This actually fell a lot further. 5.4% from high of day before closing here, down 2.3%. And the Dow Jones, shout out Pam Bondi. Here's the high day here. fell 2% before closing, down 0.8%. And then we got SPY, we got the ETF. High a day, we was at 746.90. That was at 6:45 a.m. candle. And we fell 3.2% before closing, down 1.3%. QQQ. We hit a high day of 725.66. Same candle, 6:45. And we fell all the way to the gap. We even broke the swing low. The daily chart swing low. We broke that today. And we came all the way to the gap. To the penny, y'all. That's why you got to put these gaps on your chart. It came all the way down to the gap. It was down 5.4% before closing, down 2.4% from the high of day. So in total, QQQ was down 1.1% on the day. SPY was down 0.2% on the day. SPX was down 0.2%, and the NAS 100 was down 0.9%. The Dow Jones was down 0.1%. IWM, same thing. High a day, 6:45 candle. Came all the way down to our weekly level to the penny, y'all. To the penny. That's why you got to put levels on your chart so you can know where price is probably going to stop at. Where price is going to react. You know what I mean? So it was down 4.5% from the high day. Ended up closing down 2% from the high day. In total, it was down 0.3%. The VIX, you can see the VIX ran up into the gap. Halfway, you know how I talk about whenever we have gaps, they usually get filled about halfway before they fully get filled. Just filled the gap halfway before rejecting. At the high, the VIX was at 23.3, and it ended up closing at 19.8. All right, let's get into Robert Greene's daily law for today. Title: Give people the opportunity to feel superior. Today's law is about understanding what motivates people. Robert Greene says you must figure out what makes people tick. Some people are moved by greed. Some people are moved by recognition. Some people are moved by power. And some people want the opportunity to look charitable, honorable, or generous in public. The key is understanding that not everyone responds to the same appeal. Some people do not want to feel like they are being sold to. They want to feel like they are helping. They want to feel elevated. They want to feel important. They want to feel superior. And if you understand that, you can communicate more effectively. You are not forcing your own motivation onto them. You are understanding what already moves them. For long-term investors, this connects directly to understanding market behavior. The market is always motivated by something. Sometimes it's greed, sometimes it's fear, sometimes it's earnings, sometimes it's interest rates, sometimes it's inflation, sometimes it's geopolitical risk. Right now, the market is being driven by fear, CPI positioning, headlines from the Strait of Hormuz, and uncertainty around whether buyers can keep defending these levels. So the question is not just what did price do? The better question is what motivated price to move the way that it did. If you understand the motivation behind the market, you can make better decisions. For day traders, this law is about reading behavior in real time. Every candle is showing you motivation. Buyers are showing demand. Sellers are showing rejection. A wick tells you something. A recovery tells you something. A failed breakout tells you something. Today was a perfect example. The market sold off hard. The buyers stepped back in. That does not mean everything is bullish, but it does tell you buyers were willing to defend the lows of the day. Your job is not to argue with the market. Your job is to understand what is motivating the move and respond with discipline. Execution over emotion, process over prediction. All right. Next up, So we have CPI tomorrow. That is inflation data. That is very important. And the market is likely to swing when that data comes out. That alone can make traders more cautious. When inflation data is one day away, some investors may take profit or reduce risk. Second, we have the SpaceX IPO conversation going. This is one of the largest IPOs in history coming this week on Friday. It is possible that some market participants are freeing up some cash ahead of that event so they could get in on day one. Third, we had the biggest headline risk of the day, President Trump talking about the U.S. Apache helicopter being shot down by Iran while patrolling the Strait of Hormuz. Both pilots survived and are uninjured and safe. But Trump said that the United States must respond. So I think that caused the spike in the VIX. All right. Now let's get to our $1 trillion tickers, y'all. First up, we got the most valuable company in the world, Nvidia. And as you can see, it has the same type of pattern that the indices had. So Nvidia opened up around 210, came down all the way to 199.34, y'all. So it did hit an intraday low under 200, but it ended up closing at 208. So very, very good recovery from Nvidia. So Nvidia was down 0.2% on the day. Next up, we had Google. Google is actually green on the day. It was up 0.25%. End up closing at 364.26. Next, we had Apple. Apple sold off again today. Sold off yesterday following WWDC and sold off again today. Apple was down 3.6% today. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Apple hit an all-time high yesterday. Let's see how much it sold off. An all-time high yesterday of 317.40, and now it hit a low minus 9.3% on lower day, but it's now down 8.4%. So you almost able to get Apple at a 10% discount, y'all. I don't know if you got Apple in your portfolio, you should, but it's almost 10% off. So maybe you'll have a opportunity to get Apple 10% off sometime this month. We'll see. Next up, we got Microsoft. Microsoft opened up at 409. It ended up breaking under 400. The lower day, it hit 398.48, and it ended up closing at 403.41. So Microsoft down 2% on the day. Amazon, I don't know what happened with this candle right here. Like, this candle was so crazy. Let me actually show you on a 1-minute chart this candle right here. I'm like, I don't know if this was a real candle or what. I don't know what happened right here. Was this like some, I don't know, but so this candle went from 246.92 all the way to 237 and back up to the same level that it opened up at in 1 minute. Let's actually go on a 5-second chart and see if we can find it. There it is, y'all. This is a 5-second candle. So I don't really know what happened here. But in 5 seconds, it dropped almost $10 and came back up. So yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy with the Amazon chart today. But Amazon ended up closing down 0.4% at 244.19. Next up, TSM actually closed green on the day, up 0.25%. They opened up at 430, came all the way down to 405 before closing at 427.92. AVGO down 1.1% today, closed at 392.16. Tesla down 3% on the day, closed at 396.68. Meta barely under break even. It did end up closing inside the gap it did hit halfway into the gap before recovering. So Meta closed at 584.59. Samsung was up 8.9% today. MU had crazy movement today, y'all. So MU high day was actually the opening candle, 989.15. It went down all the way to 854.35 before closing at 935.89, y'all. So whoever caught this movement to the downside on MU made a bag. That broke through so many levels right there, boy. Next, we got Berkshire B. It was up 0.1% today. Not too much movement with Berkshire B. Next, we got Eli Lilly. Yes, Eli Lilly is a $1 trillion ticker again, but it was down 0.3% today. It did hit a high first candle of the day, $1,174, but it ended up closing at $1,144. And SK Hynix, welcome back to the $1 trillion ticker family. It was up 15.9% today. All right. And it looks like this gap was filled. So, both of these gaps are filled. So we can delete these gaps off of here. All right. Next, let's check out. What should we check out next? Let's check out the heat map, y'all. Let me refresh. All right. Here's the heat map. We got a lot of red in tech. Got a lot of green in finance. Got a lot of green in healthcare. Got a lot of green everywhere except tech, basically, and energy. Energy is all red in energy here. But yeah, outside of energy and technology, everything else is looking very green. Looking like a sector rotation for the day. All right, next, let's check out some news, y'all. All right, no notable earnings today. All right, first piece of news is India has paused Starlink approvals over national security concerns right before the SpaceX IPO on Friday. India's Ministry of Home Affairs has withheld final security clearances for Starlink operations, citing data sovereignty and foreign control risk amid geopolitical tensions, according to Bloomberg. The timing coincides with SpaceX's planned NASDAQ IPO on Friday under ticker symbol SPCX, targeting a record $75 billion raise at $135 a share, where Starlink growth is central to the valuation case. Now, I did request to get 10 shares of Starlink on the opening day. I did that through Robinhood. I know we're not supposed to buy on IPO days, but I feel like with all this demand that it might run up on the first day. And also, I know that people that bought in pre-IPO, they have a 5-week holding period, so they can't sell it before that. So I do believe that it will probably get chopped in half about time, or at least 25%. Between 25% and chopped in half by the time that 5-week holding period is up. So I feel like I could probably make a quick flip before then. All right, next. Workers at SoFi Stadium near Los Angeles reached a tentative agreement with management, averting the threat of a strike days before hosting the U.S. team's first World Cup football match. What a great idea by the employees to threaten a strike right before the World Cup. There's no more pressure that will be on them than when the World Cup is coming, y'all. So this is SoFi Stadium food service workers represented by Unite Here Local 11 chapter. This is about 2,000 employees at the stadium. So good job, y'all. Putting pressure. And it worked. Next, I thought this was interesting. The Social Security Trust Fund is on track to run out of money in late 2032. 3 months sooner than was projected last year. So that is tough. So it's not going to be no Social Security for you if you plan on retiring before 2032. So I suggest you start investing more money into the stock market. If you're listening to the show, you are probably invested in the stock market. So you will be more prepared than those who are depending on Social Security. Next up, this is from Earn Your Leisure. Media mogul, comedian, actor, super multi-millionaire, probably hundreds of millions of dollars, Nick Cannon will be at InvestFest this year, y'all, in Atlanta, Georgia, August 7th through 9th. Shout out Nick Cannon, man. He put a lot of comedians on, y'all. A lot of comedians got their break rocking with Nick Cannon at Wildin' Out, man. A lot of Wildin' Out girls got their numbers up because they was on Wildin' Out. Got their IG numbers up. I don't know how many of them went to OnlyFans, but a lot of them got their IG numbers up. All right, next up, OpenAI is reportedly planning an IPO with a targeted valuation between $730 billion and $850 billion, y'all. So this will be one of the biggest. It's going to be one of the top 3 biggest IPOs of the year. We already talked about SpaceX. That's coming up later this week. Also, it's going to be OpenAI and Anthropic, y'all. So I might have to do the same flip with OpenAI. Nah, I don't know. Altman been tripping. Like, it's definitely not the same type of demand with OpenAI. It's been too much going on with Sam Altman. So yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Maybe Anthropic though. They getting a lot better press. Next up, I thought this was pretty funny. This from Yahoo Finance. Tom Brady has just launched a new drink, and you'll never guess the name of it. It is called Good Nut. A premium organic coconut water line in partnership with GoPuff and available exclusively through the platform. The drink comes in 3 varieties: original, chocolate, and sparkling. Sourced from organic Vietnamese coconuts with no added sugar or artificial ingredients. This marks Brady's latest post-NFL business venture in the expanding coconut water market, following his prior Goat Gummies collaboration with GoPuff. I did not try his Goat Gummies, so I can't tell you if they're good or not. That is a hilarious name, and I think it is funny enough to go viral and consistently. I think it's going to be a lot of people doing like skits and stuff around this product when it comes out. So good idea on that, Brady, man. Funny name, and I guess you do have some humor. Is that why they did the roast of Tom Brady last year? He's actually a humorous person. I don't know, but whoever came up with that idea for the title, for the name, good shit. Next up, so I don't know if y'all heard, but CEO of Nvidia actually told us to buy QCOM yesterday. So I actually put QCOM, I made a little reminder here on the chart right here. This is the QCOM chart. Let me move this all-time high up here. All-time high 259.98, and this is yesterday. So he told us actually after the market was closed yesterday. So I just put it here at the top. At the close, 221.03. Jensen said, "Buy this stock. It's good." So Jensen, I think he's been hanging around with Trump, telling people which stocks to buy, and we'll see if we get the same results from this one. Shout out Jensen. Next, China is preparing to spend around $295 billion over the next 5 years on building data centers across the country. It's a lot of money, y'all. They're going to need a lot of chips to do that. How many of those chips are going to come from American companies? Well, if they want the best chips in the world, they're going to have to come to Nvidia. And that is here in America. Oh, this is interesting right here. Check this out, y'all. This is from Watcher Guru on Twitter. He said, Trump family has made $2.3 billion in profits from his crypto ventures. This was originally reported by Reuters investigation. Okay, and this is their crypto ventures include World Liberty financial token sales and the Trump meme coin licensing since 2024. The family used a low-risk licensing and revenue sharing model with minimal capital at risk, receiving 75% of certain WLFI proceeds through a controlled entity while promoting the projects. That's World Liberty Financial. It says investors in the linked tokens and equities experience matching net losses of roughly $2.3 billion by late April 2026 due to post-hype price collapses of up to 97% in some assets. Damn. That's a lot of money people lost. People lost $2.3 billion while the Trump family made $2.5 billion. No, excuse me. They made $2.3 billion and the investors lost that $2.3 billion. He robbed his own people that be supporting him. I guarantee that was hella Trump supporters. Like, who else finna buy it? Ain't nobody that's not a Trump supporter gonna invest in his stuff like that. Dang, talking about robbing your own people. Damn. All right, next. Robinhood Securities is now approved to serve as an underwriter. Since IPO access launched in 2021, we've watched retail go from an afterthought to a key part of how companies plan an IPO. The question changed from why allocate to retail at all to how big can the allocation be. Becoming an underwriter is not just selling a group member. It is the natural next step to better serve our customers and our issuers. We intend to be disruptive in this space. And that is per CEO Vlad Tenev. All right. That's it, y'all. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live. You know how we like to end the show with some Instagram motivation? Shout out Dr. George Frazier.
Chase excellence, never chase money. Why? Because money has an incredible way of finding excellence. Did you chase excellence and not money? Do you have the intellectual curiosity to learn everything you can about this incredible industry and master it? Become the smartest person in the room. Have you mastered it?
It don't happen overnight, and there's gonna be moments when it's really, really frustrating, and it's gonna be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs, too low off the lows, you're gonna take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work and appreciating it, when it's good, and not stressing too bad when it's bad. Just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
And that's what we do here on the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast. I'm your host, Matt Riches. We'll be back tomorrow morning in the pre-market for the pre-market briefing, where I'll be giving out at least 3 levels to the downside, 3 levels to the upside, and you can make some money trading with those levels. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.
$1 Trillion Tickers, turning data to gold.